Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, brother Gaia, back again with another recap of UFC 326, with Charles Oliveira dominated Max Holloway. And we're also going to recap One Friday Fights 145 with Worapon. It's absolutely flatlining Arthur Brossier in that main event. All of the fights, we're going to break them down. We're going to recap those fights fantastically as best as I can. But before I do that, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you know when we go in live weekly, absolutely weekly. But okay, boys, love for everybody that's tuned into our lives over the past weekend. Like I say, it was a fantastic weekend for us. Even though Max Holloway lost in our field, whenever Max Holloway loses, but on top of that, our bets, our picks for the weekend were quite successful for both One Championship and for UFC. I mean, that's a big one because in the UFC, we really rarely do we get it right for the UFC, but to be able to get a nice parlay locked in and actually get it successfully this weekend was really, really good. So yeah, much love to everybody that tuned into us and helped us make sure we go with the correct picks this weekend, the past weekend. But okay, boys, ladies, let's get straight into it. We're going to start with One Championship and we'll bring it up on screen for you guys. I figured, I know UFC is the big news, but because I'm only really covering the main card of the UFC, and for One Championship, I'm covering the entire fight card, I thought let's do One Championship instead, considering that also a large portion of our audiences prefer the One Championship content. So let's just do the One Championship first. But okay, without further ado, we will go to the top of the card where Worapon fucking just ruined Arthur's whole career with a massive second round, first round knockout. Fight wasn't even a fight, to be honest with you guys. It was like a minute, and it's mad because it's a 3-minute fight, 3-minute round fights, 3 rounds, 3-minute rounds, and which means the rounds aren't that long. Right? They're not 5 minutes, and Worapon was able to take him out within like a minute of the first round. So that for me is not surprising. I think what's more surprising is the treatment that Worapon is getting. I remember when we did the live, a lot of the guys in the audience in the live chat were saying Worapon should be getting a contract, and in my opinion, I think he should have. Now, I know he's not on the massive win streak, but I mean, if you look at his record, right, he has 1 loss in 7 fights. Yeah, 1 in 7 fights. Right, he lost to Julio Lobo. Prior to that, he went on a 5-fight win streak, loses to Julio Lobo, now on a 2-fight win streak. So that's 1 loss in 8 fights, essentially. Nothing wrong, and that's, you know what I mean. Before the loss to Julio Lobo, there were conversations amongst One Championship that Worapon will be considered for a contract next, right? And doesn't get it, loses to Julio Lobo, comes back, knocks out Sulan U. It's another fight. Arthur Brossier, outside of One Championship, he's a champion in the European scene in Muay Thai, won the Grand Prix out there. So he's coming in with a lot of accolades. He's coming in with the big credentials as well. Worapon takes him out as the smaller fighter, takes him out within a minute and 20 seconds. Bang! First round KO. Right? Massive left switch kick, which is becoming one of Worapon's good weapons, right? Never really used it that much in his fights, but now he's been able to really find a home for that left high kick. Beautiful. Because we always knew Worapon's big game is the clinch, right? Once he gets going in the clinch, it's kind of difficult to stop him. Not many fighters have been in there with him and he has gotten through his clinch. And like if you watch Worapon, right? This fight was supposed to be difficult for him. If you watch Worapon's fights in One Championship, whenever he's having adversity, or if he's losing, or if he's not successful in the ring, he's fighting guys that are traditionally kickboxing heavy styles, bigger than him, taller than him, and they have high volume, right? And they keep him at the end of their range, and that's when Worapon doesn't really do well. If you can eliminate the clinch game, keep him on the back foot, you can beat him. But if you don't get those things happening, then he's gonna walk right through you, right? He's one of the best at. And Brossier posed those kind of threats: big, lanky, tall, European kickboxing nature, high volume. But I always felt that he was going to get beaten because his defense is bad. Brossier's defense is really bad. Drops his hands a lot. And because the clinch work is his best attribute, is his clinch, meaning that he's going to have to fight Worapon in the clinch. I was like, dude, that means you're going to lose this fight. If clinch game is your best weapon, and it doesn't even look that good, by the way, and you're taking on a master of the clinch, I just couldn't see Brossier winning this fight at all. I was just like, nah, there's no avenue unless you stay sticking and moving. from the outside, fight on the long range. That might be a bit of an advantage for him. He didn't even try that. Worapon didn't even give him a chance to get there. Closed him down instantly. Threw a left high kick because Brossier was quite heavy with the pressure. Threw a left high kick, bang, drops him for early. Never could recover from that afterwards. Worapon walks him down, puts him in a clinch. In fact, Arthur went for the clinch first. Worapon just counters it, bang, left elbow, bang, right elbow. KO, doesn't come back from it. Gets the job done, gets the bonus. Fight didn't last longer than a minute and 30 seconds. And Worapon doesn't get the contract. So I personally feel like that should have been a contract for him, considering that was his 15th fight in one championship. 15 fights. They are champions or former champions in one championship today that don't even have 15 fights. You know what I'm saying? In the promotion, champions. Let that sink in. I think Worapon is getting a little bit of unfair treatment, in my opinion. Because it's not like he's an unknown guy who's going under the radar. My guy is basically he's the uncrowned champion of a Friday Fights card, essentially. He has arguably some of the most amount of fights on the Friday Fights card. A lot of wins, dominant wins against top class opponents. I feel like he should be fighting for a contract. Now he beat Arthur Brossier. Worapon took absolutely zero damage in this fight. So we could see him fight again as early as the next month, or maybe even the end of March. But I think the cards are already full for this month. So I think we could even see him in April. That's how quickly he can come back. And I feel that Worapon should be fighting somebody that is either contracted or somebody that's also teetering on the lines of getting a contract. That should be Warapon's next fight. I personally said he should be fighting against Felipe Lobo, since he dropped out of the top 10, top 5 of the bantamweight Muay Thai division. I would say that's a fight he should be getting next. If you beat him, contract is yours. If you lose to him, you stay in the Friday fights cards on Fridays. But I think Worapon can definitely take out Felipe Lobo. I know Julio Lobo beat him, but Julio Lobo fights like one fight in one championship like every 2 years. So he's too inconsistent. We don't see enough of him. So that loss against Julio Lobo, probably won't even get that fight back because Lobo doesn't even compete that much. But Felipe Lobo is a consistent brand in the bantamweight division. He's always there. He's been in the top 5. He fought for the title. He dropped out to the top 5. Excuse me. I said let him run. And he fights in Friday Fights cards as a contracted fighter. I like, let's Worapon take him on. That'll be a perfect display. If you get through him, you should be getting the contract. If it doesn't, then stay where you are. He's only 23 years old. There's a lot of time for Worapon to get that contract. But I feel like the way that he's fighting, the numbers that he's bringing in, people love him. I feel like one championship shooting themselves in the foot if they don't put the contract on this guy's name, because he can be a star for one championship. Okay, but that's my take on Worapon. I can't really break down too much of the fight because nothing really happened. I mean, Arthur Brossier tried to be aggressive, tried to use his height and leverage. But like I said, his defense is not fundamentally that good. His hands are here. I think as a taller guy, he's got to keep it there and work off that jab and not just run in and throw your fists and hands in the air to get your opponent to commit to a clinch. I feel like you can work his way in as the taller guy. You can condition your opponent to fall for your strikes, and then when they want to commit to coming close, oh, guess what? You're now in my clinch. You're now in my world, right? Brossier didn't do any of that nature. He just thought that, well, from what it looked like, was that putting on pressure on Worapon is gonna force him to fight his fight, but it just didn't work. Worapon was ready for everything, and he deserved the win in my opinion. So well done to him. Give me your thoughts, guys, in the comments section. What do you think about Warapon's performance? Who should he be fighting next? And also, should he be fighting for the contract next? Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna keep it moving. So this was a cool fight. We had strawweight Muay Thai, we had Bang Bang, and he took on Hearn. And I think this was a really fun one. I feel like worthy of the co-main event. Well, at least under the current standards of what one championship is doing when it comes to how they're running the cards these days. So I think, worthy main event. This was the one fight. Hearn was actually the one that completed our parlay, and actually, I'm sure that we got some good money on this one. But I was saying all week that I was like, I'm surprised that Hearn is even the underdog here. I like Benuang. I think he's a fun, young, vibrant fighter. He's one of those guys that I can get behind. He's got a little bit of the length in this division over some of the guys. So he's quite a tall strawweight. He's only 17 years old, I think, or something like that. 17 or 18 years old. So he's one for the future. Just not right now. I didn't think right now. And I've always felt that in this fight, you heard the preview as well. In this fight, I was saying with ESR, Benuang is a very unorthodox striker, right? He fights orthodox. Style is always stance is orthodox stance, but his rhythm is offbeat. It's not traditional. It's not textbook. It's like he's throwing things that is like coming at you at a different rhythm. And then also, especially when you attack Beno and you want to go at him and put him on the back foot, right? That's actually where he's most dangerous, Beno Wang, right? Because he's so unorthodox. What I mean by that is that he's throwing his defensive choices. He's not like, okay, I'm getting backed up. Let's get the guard up, parry your shot, roll, and then get out of the way and step to the outside and reset the positioning so you can get back that geography. He's not doing that. When Brandon Wang is getting backed up, he's spinning. Like you'll back up, and you'll spin back elbow, you'll throw a high kick, get out of there. He's doing very scramble-like movements in there. Like if this was a wrestling match and you're scrambling to get away from bottom or to not give your hips away, that's how he defends. When he's going backwards, he's scrambling. It looks like he's panicking, but he's not. He's actually throwing wild shit at you, get you coming in, right? So that makes him very unorthodox to fight against. At the same time, because he's doing that, it kind of shows that he's not necessarily the most technical guy when he's in there. So what I'm saying is, if you're a technical fighter and you keep your guard up and you're patient enough, but you give him a lot of pressure, Beno Wang is going to show you those targets because of that retaliation that he does. And that's exactly what Hearn was exposing and exploiting in this fight, is that he was just body kicking, low kicking from the left side a lot of the time, but he did it in a rhythm where he just kept walking Beno Wang back, low kick, high kick, Beno Wang, poof, push kick, left straight, left to the body, and he kept attacking the body the whole time, the left straight to the body, left straight to the body. And he was doing it in a way that he was kind of forcing Beno Wang to react with those spins and to react in those wild overhand natures, and doing those things is forcing him to give you the targets, and that's how Hearn was able to find that target in the second round. Because in the first round, he just kept on the pressure and kept on kicking and hitting the body, even though that he had to defend a few of the stuff that Beno was throwing at him. But methodically and progressively, he was backing up Beno Wang and forcing him into the corner. And when he got to the second round, it was pretty much there for the taking, because now Beno Wang was trapped basically. And what happened was he was forced to fight Hearn's fight, slow, methodical pace, selecting your targets, breaking you down from the base all the way to the top. And that's what he was doing. And then basically when they got into the middle, when Hearn got Beno Wang in the corner, Beno Wang retaliated with something big, threw a high kick, right hand, and then he backed up, and then Hearn just stepped out of the corner because Hearn was in the corner first. And he first took that combo, boom, boom, stepped off to his left, reversed the position, put Beno Wang in the corner, boom, left straight to the body, dropped him, he couldn't recover. Beautiful display of how you beat him. Because that's also how Riftin won his fight. Riftin got the first round knockdown, right? But the way he got that first round knockdown against Beno Wang was exactly the same way Hearn did it. It was just technical, eye guard, walking him down, and breaking him down. Because Beno Wang fights like a wildfire, it means it's not controlled. It means that he's eventually will show you those targets because of that nature. He's not going to keep his guard up, and he's going to pop that jab out and move and pop that jab, and then select targets to break you down throughout the fight. Beno Wang is like a Beyblade in there. He's doing wild spins and wild things, and that can either finish you, but if you're smart enough to know that that's not really dangerous stuff, Beno Wang is gonna show you those targets. He's gonna get still. He's gonna eventually get tired, and you're gonna see the rhythm it's gonna throw at you, and you're gonna find a way to beat him. And that's exactly what Hearn did there. So well done, good performance from Hearn. I know he was very emotional on the night because he got that bonus. I think this is now 4-0 in one championship. Very good display. I think this was his best display over the 3 fights I've seen him fight before. Like this was his best one. I think also what added to the emotion is I think outside of the one championship, he had a very bad record coming into this fight. I think he had like 4 losses or something like that. So he needed to get the one back, right? He needed to get that win back, and I think he did it in a very emphatic fashion and deserved the bonus, bro. I think this Luke Suwan Jim is producing some really good names, and yeah, I wanna see Hearn fight a lot more. I really do. 4-0, 23 years old. Dude, I think this guy can become something. I do think they have to make him fight more. I don't know if he can, as long as Nadaka Yoshinari is the champion. I just don't know if anyone else can be the champion in that division. But I think Hearn can definitely assert his name into the top 10, top 5 of the division if he gets more frequent fights and continues, right? So I think like his next opponent should be someone that's a consistent figure in the strawweight division. Ti just beat he knocked out damn it. He knocked out now. He knocked out Anon. He knocked out Anon. I think Hearn Ti would be a very good fight. In fact, any of the Ti's, there's Toyota as well. There's some good names in the strawweight division. Pet. going on a massive win streak. I think you can put him up against any one of those guys who are consistently fighting. And again, he's now on a 4-fight win streak in one. If he goes on a 5th, 6-fight win streak, then we should start talking contracts. We should start talking, especially because Nadaga's a champion. We've got a champion in the division now, so we should have a lot more contenders in this division, so we can have a movement, right? Now we've got one samurai. Nadaka needs opponents, guys. Let's start putting more guys in contracts in this strawweight division. A big win for her, and well done to him. Give me your thoughts in the comments, guys. What do you guys make of that performance? Well, I keep moving. Okay, so up next, staying in the strawweight Muay Thai division, we have Atachai. He took on Bruce Lee, and this was a fight. Both guys made their debut. Bruce Lee, I think he's like 16 years old or something like that, and he took on an Atachai who I felt was going to be the more experienced guy, more power. You know, he's older. He's fought a little bit more. He should have the way without to deal with this fight. But it's pretty much the carbon copy of what we watched last week or the week before this fight, God, where we had Sama Singh taking on Yodnati. Literally the same thing. Got a 23-year-old, Atachai is 23 years old, Bruce Lee 16, Yodnati 16, and the youngster gets the job done over the older fighter. I thought Bruce Lee fought fantastic in this fight. He was the taller guy. He used his range really well. So he's a kick-heavy fighter, so he was using a lot of kicks, high kicks, push kicks, deep kicks, low kicks, and then even followed up with some of the step-in right hands, which actually got him a very good knockdown. Almost finished the fight, by the way. Atachai very nearly didn't make the 8 count, but he got up in the first round. He got up and he made the 8 count, but never was able to close the distance from there. Wasn't able to get back any of the rounds. Bruce Lee fought a fabulous fight over round 2 and 3, utilizing his reach and rhythm to stay in and out of the distance, staying within range to land all of his kicks. And Atachai just couldn't really find those targets. I think also that the knockdown in the first round was so massive that he couldn't really shake the cobwebs. And to be fair, he fought nicely in rounds 2 and 3, but just never could hit the target. I thought he was taller. He's actually the shorter fighter. So well done to Bruce Lee. I thought he fought a really good fight. Could have gotten the finish in the later rounds, but Atachai was defensively sound and he pushed the pace, but again, just not landing on those targets where Bruce Lee was just more smarter, cleaner fighter. I'm going to say it now, guys. Bruce Lee can become something, again, it's at 16 years old and he's already that much taller than some of the guys in the strawweight division. I think over time he can become a good fighter. You're going to have to wait, obviously, because he's still very, very young. So I think Bruce Lee should still consider, racking up some more experience outside of one championship. I think with a performance like that, you could potentially see him back still in this year. I think one championship could rouse him out to listen, Bruce Lee, you're taking on Yodnati next. Let's see what that fight produces, and the winner will get the investment from the organization. Atachai, even though you lost the fight, I still like what I saw from him. I think he's still very much a go-getter. As you can see there, looks one good gym. I still like what I saw. You lost the fight, but what I noticed, and it's a pattern I'm starting to pick up now when it comes to this fight game, is when we're seeing the older fighter, like a 23-year-old, 24-year-old fighting against a 16, 17-year-old. There's a tendency I notice of the older fighter sort of underestimating the youngster, like overlooking them, and then when they get in, and then when they get knocked down in the first round, they end up rushing and becoming very hasty to get that knockdown back, but then end up walking into a shot, or they're walking into a finish, and it's like, if you actually just fought composed and actually gave the young man the respect, you probably would have knocked him out. Because you overlooked it and you realized, you thought to yourself, there's nothing he can do to me, you end up losing fights like that, and the young man ends up beating you. Because also, what did Bruce Lee have to lose? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing to lose. And then you could see it in his face, you could see the way he walked out, you could see the way in the performance, he fought like he realized, dude, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for me. I'm gonna fight as if I'm grateful for this. And that's why he fought so light on his feet. You know what I mean? Atachai was stiff and he was rushing back to get that knockdown. And when you fight like that, you kind of let go of the game plan, you forget the fundamentals, and you end up walking into shots you don't normally do. And that's what happens when you fight with a clouded mind. I thought that's what I thought of Atachai. Because I feel like if this fight was happening again, I don't think it will be the same kind of result. Atachai might even fight so much different and actually be more composed and methodical in there. But well done to Bruce Lee. I like what I saw. It's a very, very good performance from him. Let's keep it moving. Okay, flyweight Muay Thai. We had Kla Rob. You need to con Babak Hagi or Hagi, and this was a fun fight. I remember when we were in the chat. I think it was DSPV that was saying Babak Hagi would probably get the job done here. Kla Rob, hit and a miss kind of guy. Me personally, I was on the fence with it. I didn't have a full-on opinion because I could see the argument, especially when you look at the tape of Babak. I was like, okay, I can see the argument. He's a very good fighter. He's a strong kickboxing, heavy nature. His first round is really good. Cloud Rob is a bit of a hit and a miss kind of guy. When he fought City Chalk, he was like so under the gun. But I was always thinking like, yo, Cloud Rob is actually not that bad. Looking at those two fights he had in one championship before this one, I was like, there's something there. He's not too bad at all. And I think he's powerful. I think he's crafty. I think he stays out of danger. Sometimes Chuck could have beaten him, could have knocked him out, but never really got there. So I thought to myself, Ricardo is defensively a sound fighter. He's not that bad. And one thing about the guys that are not from Thailand or not from the Southeast Asia region is that they are all really good strikers, but they don't have remotely close to the durability than the Thai guys or the Myanmar guys have. So I always just felt like, okay, if Karab does land on him, especially in the body, what does he do? How does he deal with that? That was always a big thing that's been in my mind in this fight. I didn't make a pick for it, but I always felt this is something I noticed as a pattern. The guys out of Thailand will come in there and they'll do all this kickboxing stuff, low kick, high kick, right hand, right, all this high volume stuff, unorthodox movements, sharp, quick stuff, and the Thai guys just stand there, one punch, block, one punch. But then when they hit you, boom, in the body, then the guy that's from Iran or Morocco, or then they go down and they're like, oh shit, and you're like, you're made of glass. You got all this volume, all this technique, but you just don't have the durability. You just don't have the conditioning. And that's what I felt was going to be a factor in this fight. And that's exactly what happened. Karab just walked him down and smashed him, bro. From the southpaw stance, big uppercuts, big body shots, big overhands, strong elbows. First round was the first round. That was Babak's best chance. After that, I was like, I don't know if he's going to get it after this. And when we went into the second round, Karab was just matching him, bro. Took him to the back foot, put him on the ropes, just beat the shit out of him. Massive body shot, gets the finish, gets the knockout. Babak wasn't able to recover. He tried, but just couldn't really get there. Karab got the finish, and I'm not saying that I knew Karab was going to win the fight, but I had my suspicions about the fight. I had my doubts for Babak because of that nature of because of his style. It's a kickboxing heavy style in 4-ounce Muay Thai gloves. I was like, I'm not so sure what's going to carry over here. And Karab was also, like I said, even though he lost against City Chalk, when he gets going, he's fundamentally solid, bro. And he selects very good shots. I mean, I don't care who you are, how strong you are. Body shots can beat anyone. Body shots can drop any fighter. You can be the world champion. The body shot will fuck you up. And Cloud beat him in the body all the time, and you could see Babak had no answer for it. And it was in the pudding, guys. I don't know who they get next, but I would love to see Cloud again fight so much more in one championship, guys. Give this man more fights. Again, he could be a good name for the promotion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section while I keep it moving, boys. Let's go. Up next, Atomid Muay Thai, Tsi Shing Phoebe Low. She lost to Zainab Sitintas. Well done to Zainab Sitintas making her debut. I was doubtful for her in this performance. I always felt that Tsi Shing Phoebe, if she fights anything like she normally fights, she's going to walk right through Zainab, right? Bigger, stronger, not faster, but aggressive, powerful clinch. And my God, she fought nothing like she normally fights. Zainab comes into the fight, nothing to lose, fights her fight, kickboxing style, heavy volume, and she was sharper than Phoebe. She kept the fight at her range, and she was out voluming Phoebe the whole time. Phoebe, I had no idea Phoebe was actually even training out the Super One's training camp. And this was a good fight. And I remember on commentary, Mitch Chilson said something really interesting. He said, you can see when fighters go to a new camp and they try those things for the first time in a fight, they become so uncomfortable in there. And you could see it in this fight. Teaching Phoebe, this was her first fight outside of coming from Super One training camp. Prior to this fight, she hasn't trained Super One before. And her previous fight styles weren't anything like what we saw in this fight. When Phoebe fights, she normally goes in there and she makes it ugly. She puts her hands on you, she looks for clinches, and she just wants to stay, make it a bit of a tumble dryer, a bit of a washing machine kind of performance where we're just floating in the chaos the whole time. In this fight, she wanted to be a bit more technical and fight outside of the range, utilize her height, hips and knees, and she looks so uncomfortable doing that. It's just not Phoebe style. She's built like a brick. That's not your style. You can't fight that technically in there against someone who's very technical. I was like, no, you're twice Zainab's size. In my opinion, go walk her down and put her in the clinch and throw an elbow right through her face. That's what you do best. That's how you win your fights. Go and do that. She didn't do that, and it made her lose the fight. Zainab fought a fantastic fight. Take nothing away from her performance. But I think largely from my takeaway on this fight is that Phoebe did not fight her game. She did not do what she does best. She tried to be a little bit more technical, tried to fight the things that which was taught in training camp for this fight. She just could not do it. Zainab, Super One's fighting style, Super One kickboxing fighting style, or even a Muay Thai style, is not to put the pressure on you, not to walk it down in unknown combinations. That's not how Super One fights. Super One, his style is successful because he's the El Matador. Super One beats you because he's got fantastic timing. That's one of his best weapons. His timing is his best weapon. So he model his game plans over what his opponents do when they are on the front foot, and then he needs to beat that, not by walking them down, but by having them show their targets to him. So Super One's he's a back foot kind of guy. Blast body kicks. Throw stepping knees to upset your rhythms. Over and right, clinch knee, poof, reset positions. Then waits and times you when you're coming in. Bang, knee, eat that knee. Bang, counter right high kick. That's what he does. Phoebe don't fight like that. That's not how Phoebe fights, and that's what she was trying to do in this fight, and she was so unsuccessful with it. Whereas that style would have worked with Zainab, and Zainab wasn't walking Phoebe down. Zainab was the one doing what Super One does. She was on the back foot. She was timing everything, standing there looking all cute. Jab, high kick, timing, counter, elbow, poof, left straight, high kick, walks, and maintains that distance throughout the fight the whole time. She never allowed Phoebe to close on the clinch. And when they were in the clinch, she tied up to hold up, ref, separate, back up to the way I'm in range, and just stayed there. And she didn't have to chase anything. She was winning the fight that way. Phoebe tried to be technical with that. And I was like, no, my bro. Run her down. Run at her. Boom. Into a clinch. Now you fuck her up from there. She didn't do that. And she lost the fight. So yeah, I would say well done to Zainab. But for Phoebe, let that be a lesson. Right? Let that be a lesson. Sometimes when you see the game plan isn't working in the first round and you're being technical and you're losing, go back to your bread and butter. Go back to what you do best. That would have won her this fight, in my opinion. Anyway, let's keep it moving, boys. Lightweight MMA, we had two debut guys, Ryan Butt, and he took on Ethan Brockett. And I thought in this fight that, look, Ethan should be winning. He's the favorite. He should be winning this fight all days. I just had that thought in my mind was, you've seen a lot of these fights where you've got the youngster that is vibrant, awesome kickboxer, fantastic striking, and then they get wet blanketed by a very high level wrestler. May not get submitted or ground and pounded, but they'll get controlled for 5 rounds or 3 rounds, and it's like, okay, I need to develop my game because I can't get taken down like this again. I felt that Ryan Butt could have done that in this fight, or at least that was the potential for him. My God, is Ryan Butt just absolutely horse poo. Like the performance was just nowhere near what I thought he was able to do. Big plus for Ethan Brockett to do what he did. Because he was strong in the grappling. He was able to defend it really well. In fact, he reversed it. And then got his own takedown. And then won the fight by a dash choke. You know what I'm saying? He tapped out the grappler. But then to be fair, Ryan Butt isn't really a submission kind of guy. He's just a traditional 2005 classic American grappler. He's not even from America. But he's got that style. Right? Aggressive grappling, hold you down, control you. I may ground and pound, but I'm going to spend more time controlling you because I'm not losing the fight if I'm doing that. And you know what I mean? It's like 20 plus years. It's like 21 years later. And, that style is not the style to win fights anymore. And that's what we saw in this fight. Ethan was able to expose it and won the fight. So well done to Beyblade. Hope to see him come back because that division is slowly becoming more competitive. You got the Tolo brothers, you got the Lee brothers, you got Wasijima, you got Brockett in there. You know what I mean? The division is getting somewhere. You know what I mean? It is becoming something. So hopefully these guys can fight frequently. Then by all means we can look forward to an exciting lightweight MMA division in one championship. But we have to be patient. We keep it moving. Oh dang! He took on Parashuk from So Sumai, not Parashuk from Luxuan. This was strawweight Muay Thai. I thought Parashuk actually lost the fight. I actually watched it back before doing this recording. I thought Parashuk looked masterful in the first round. Fast, aggressive, powerful. Deng didn't really know what to do with that first round. Didn't know how to deal with this with the aggressive nature of Parashuk. But I thought in round 2 and round 3, I thought he fought brilliantly. He had a counter for it. He ended up fighting stronger. He ended up being faster. The elbows to the boxing that Parashuk got counted. Now, Parashuk was obviously boxing quite heavily. And Deng in rounds 2 and 3 started using elbows more whenever Parashuk came in. And was cracking him with it. He was fucking him up with it. He backed him up majority of those 2 rounds. The fight was narrowly close, but I had to watch it back. And I was thinking to myself, it could have been split decision win for Deng, in my opinion, because they were narrow. Those rounds were narrow, but Deng did have the more devastating shots, the bigger shots, and he had Parashuk backed up more in the rounds 2 and 3. Other than that, there wasn't a lot that happened in the fight, other than these guys were jostling for control. Neither guy really had dominance over 3 rounds. It was more of like, you go, I go, you go, I go, you get that second round, I get the third round, you get the first round, maybe I got the first round also. It was like that. It was they were jostling a lot of the time to see who got control, but neither guy really could put their hand up and say, "But I won majority of these rounds." It was too close. It was too narrow. There's fine lines, but exciting, fine lines though. But if I really want to put the gun to my head and choose, I'd probably say Deng was the guy who won the fight because he was backing him up and he was cracking him with big shit. Parashuk looked great in the first round. But the remainder of the fight, I was like, I don't know. I'm not convinced. But they gave it to him. What else can you say, right? The fight didn't really get me off my seat, I'm being honest. But I do want to watch Deng fight some more. I can't say the same thing for Parashuk, though. Bantamweight kickboxing, Arthur Klopp, he took on Ryuki Yoshioka. Good fight. Yoshioka came to this fight with a big resume, right? Ryzen is where he was competing frequently. And Arthur, I find Arthur to be a better Muay Thai guy than he is kickboxing, to be honest with you. But he fought good in this fight. I thought kickboxing he might get caught here. Not saying knockout wise, but I think he might get outclassed in this discipline. But boy, did Arthur fight a good fight. His volume was quite low in this fight. I thought that was a bit surprising because it's a bigger gloves, so maybe he might amp up his rhythm volume, but he didn't. His volume was much lower than what he normally does, and because of the low volume nature, it meant that he could pick the right shot, and he was throwing some really good shots. He was cracking Yoshioka heavy-handed. Yoshioka was a lot of volume but never hitting him. And I was saying it on the live stream a lot. Yoshioka was throwing stuff, left hook, right hook, high kick, but none of those shots were landing. He was punching the air. Arthur didn't even have to move out of the way. Arthur just stood there and kept his guard up. There was a moment in the second round where Arthur's back was against the ropes. He kept his guard up like this. And then fucking Yoshioka comes in close and then throws a 3-4 piece combination, but not a single punch even landed. It didn't even hit the gloves of Arthur. Arthur stood there and he went, boom, right hand. Yoshioka back. I was like, what the earth did Yoshioka even do? He had him against the rope, but he didn't even land a single punch. So it's actually an easy fight to Arthur when I think about it. Thinking, and I watched the highlights back on this fight. Didn't want to watch the whole fight back because it went all the way. So I had to skip it. I had to scrub through the video through the fight. And dude, I remember even when we were live, I was still saying that. I was like, yo, Yoshioka is throwing so much, but none of his weapons are actually landing anywhere. So I was just thinking to myself, Arthur Klopp won the fight because he landed cleaner. I think his percentage landed was more, even though he threw less and landed bigger shots. Again, another fight that was a little bit uneventful, but well done to Arthur for being the cleaner fighter. Now this fight, I'm gonna spend some time on this fight a little bit because I feel like this was the one fight in the one on the judging, the refereeing that kind of fucked up our parlay. Because if this fight had hit, and if he fought the way she normally fights, we would have been 2 parlays on this card. Instead, we only had the 1 parlay that hit. And why this fight had me a bit upset was because now please chat, correct me if I'm wrong or in the comments, but if I remember correctly, 3 knockdowns in a single round is TKO finish, right? If you don't get that 3 knockdowns in that one round, and you get maybe 2 knockdowns in one round, in the following round you get 2 more knockdowns, fight's finished. That's 4 knockdowns in a single fight. That's done. finished. That should not continue from there. That's what I remember the rules to be. In this fight, Otis Weigand got knocked down 3 times in round 2. They didn't count it. They didn't count one of those 3 knockdowns. And he got knocked down again in the 3rd round. That's 4 in total. And the fight should have been done and they didn't count it. So this refereeing in this fight was a little bit strange for me. It was a little bit off. And there was a fight. And the fight that happened, you'll see on screen here, Nontachai versus Sameh. We'll get to this fight. Something happened in this fight, or something similar happened in this fight where there was a knockdown. It wasn't even a split second, but the referee stopped and counted it. They stopped and counted it. In this fight, there were 2 knockdowns where Ademan cracked Otis, but because there was a shove after the shot, like Moradi hit him, and then there was a small shove afterwards, and that kind of put Otis down on his bum. But Otis stayed there. It took him a while to get back up. He was you could see he was daisy. He was trying to shake the cobwebs, and the referee gave him time to get up and didn't even count it. But the fight before that fight with Nontachai and Sameh, Nontachai cracks Sameh, and Sameh goes down to his knees. He doesn't even touch the ground yet. He just goes down to his squat position. He jumps back up, like he goes boom boom. But you can see he's hazy. It was a clean shot that dropped him. But the knockdown for Sameh was like this. It was like he went down and he came back up, and the referee went, "Oi!" and told Nontachai to go stand there and did an 8 count. I thought to myself, that's technically a flash knockdown, right? And I've seen now millions of fights I've seen on Fridays where there are flash knockdowns. Commentator says flash knockdown, but they don't count it. That was flash knockdown. They counted it. Otis Weigand gets knocked down 3 times in 1 round. One of those three knockdowns were flash. They don't say a single thing. I watched it back before doing this recording. I counted 3 in round 2 and I counted 1 in round 3. That was 4 total knockdowns. The fight should have been done before they even got to the 3rd round. And the referee didn't count any of them. He counted one. He counted 1 knockdown of the 3 in that 2nd round. I thought that was he counted 2 of the 3. I thought that was very, very strange. In fact, there were 4 drops in the 2nd round, but I can excuse one of those 4 because the one was a push. It was a solid push. I pushed him down, and that Otis looked a little bit jaded. But there was one where Moradi comes in straight, hands an overhand right. There was a right hand, and then he follows up with a light push. Like he goes boom, and then momentum takes him forward into him. And Otis goes down with it, literally falls, and he lays there, and like he takes a while to get back up to his feet. Like I think he took about 4 seconds to go from down to a knee and then to stand, like a 4 second. And I was like, that's a knockdown. Because he explained to me how on earth did Otis land on the ground? How? No one tripped him. No one pushed him. No one blew him over. He didn't just trip over his own 2 feet. He landed on the ground because he got punched in the face. That's a knockdown. By the virtue of getting punched in the face and you falling, that is a knockdown. It's not a magical, I'm tumbling over my 2 feet. No, this man punched you to the ground. It's a knockdown. Didn't count it. Go watch it back, guys. Please go watch it back. Because in the fight, like I'm going to go get into it now because that's what happened in that fight with Moradi and Otis. It was just Moradi fucked him up. You know, Otis did okay in the 1st round, but didn't really dominate. And the 2nd, Moradi mashed, just lunging left, took 1st knockdown. And from that moment, throughout round 2 and round 3, Otis was just basically dazed, lost, confused, didn't know what was going on. And Moradi was just putting the hurt on him. But Moradi also didn't find the kill shot properly in the later rounds. He got a little bit too aggressive, and he was punching like he also forgot about his technique. He was so hungry for the finish that he forgot to just pick the shot. Instead, he was wailing and just couldn't find the kill switch. But he won the fight. But I think the referee could have ended the fight in the 2nd round already because of the 3 knockdowns. Now, featherweight Muay Thai, Nontachai and Sameh Sendi. Same thing. Sameh Sendi started Sameh started the 1st round like he normally does in any of his fights. Super aggressive. Powerful shots. Haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. And that's one thing I don't like about Sameh's fight is that it's like you can choose those shots. You don't have to throw heavy shots every time you throw a shot. Because then what happens if you can't knock him out? Now you got 10 minutes, you got 6 minutes left. I don't talk if it's a 5-round fight. Can you manage the next round? Because let me tell you now, in round 2, Sameh didn't have anything. He was basically in survival mode. He was throwing stuff, but it was survival mode. Everything he threw was full intentions and it hurt. You could see Nontachai's low kick. He didn't check any of the low kicks and it was hurting him. It hurt him. The swinging back kick, the overhand right, the aggressive nature. He was throwing big shots, but Nontachai just took them like it was fucking cheese. Okay, okay. Oh, yeah, they did that. Okay, cool. I didn't do anything to Nanta Chai. When Nanta Chai threw a knee to the body, left hook to the body. Sunday didn't like it. Sameh hated it. It was making him get hurt. Sameh came in with a nice body shot. What did Nanta Chai do? Counter right elbow, cuts him open. Sameh was looking like a bloody mess after round one already. And Nanta Chai just broke him down methodically. Round ones broke him down. Round two broke him down. Aggressive. The shot selection from Nanta Chai was coming at the rhythm, and the target selection was so good that Sameh didn't know how to defend it. It was like, I must defend here, I must defend there, I must defend. He could not defend anything because the rhythm of shots was coming at different angles and different targets that he had just had no defense for it. And like I said, there was a knockdown. So the knockdowns came in the third round. It wasn't round two and round one. Came in the third round. The first knockdown, like I mentioned, Nanta Chai counter right elbow. Sameh goes down. Like I said earlier, he goes down, but not even all the way where he has knees on the canvas, where he has his palms on the canvas. He goes down into a squat and then pops back up, whoop, straight back up. If he stops, gives him an 8 count. And I was like, okay, I'm not against it because that's a flash knockdown. Keyword being knockdown. Whether it's flash or you're actually down on your bums, you are knocked down. So I counted, right? It's a knockdown, even though it was flash. After that, Sameh was trying to fight back, but the body shots was just too intense from Nanta Chai. And Sameh just didn't have anything for it. And he just hit the guard, I guess, and slowly just went down and down and down and fell and didn't make the 8 count after the third knockdown. And then, yeah, that was the end of the day. TKO finished with Nanta Chai. Nanta Chai at featherweight, monster. Absolute monster. I like what I see. This is his weight division. People go on about how he lost to Darak Dakaev. Bantamweight Nanta Chai, it doesn't make sense. He's too big for that division. He's too tall. He's too wide. He's naturally just can't make that weight. Featherweight Nanta Chai, now this is a different fighter, a different breed. This is where he fights really, really, really well. He had good performances at bantamweight, but because now the weight cut is not so intense, it looks fuller. It looks like he can control his body a bit better. Beast mode. Because remember, guys, he took on Sameh. Sameh hits like a truck. He's also a big featherweight. But Nanta Chai was basically walking through every single shot that he took from Sameh. Sameh couldn't really hurt him. Well done to Nanta Chai. Worapon beat Leandro Douglas. So this was the fights that took place on the Thailand card. There were no highlights unless you're going to watch it back on the website. Worapon came back and he put on a performance against someone who took him out on no short notice. Leandro Douglas is a good fighter, but short notice, so he really didn't have a big shot at winning this fight. And he fought an ugly fight. He was making it extensive boxing combinations mainly. So no one really threw kicks, no one really threw elbows. They were just boxing the whole time. Pardon me. And Worapon was better, sharper, faster. The shot selection of Worapon and the nature that just the aggressive nature he put on display here, I was like, oh, nah, Worapon just looking like a beast in there. And I think that he was supposed to fight against Mai Sung-kum. I think he would have beat Mai Sung-kum as well. He would have walked right through him the same way he did the first fight. Worapon, I know there was talk of him that he took time off last year. I think he had one fight in 2025. He took the majority of the year off to open up a Thai tea shop. And I think there was conversation around him having some mental health problems. Dude, the way he fought this fight, it looked like he had no problems at all. It almost looked like the tea shop found him some peace in his life. It brought him and made him a more dangerous fighter than what he's ever been, because the shot selection, the defense, the targets that he goes for, I was like, nah, Worapon was smart in this fight. He attacked the body all the time, which made Leandro on the back foot every single round. But I'll give Leandro a lot of respect because he fought this fight on short notice. And he fought a good fight, bro. He was aggressive. He punched hard. He went to Worapon. He didn't scale from anything. He didn't fold or defend like a coward. He went in there and took his chance, or at least took the opportunity. But unfortunately, he came up against somebody that he just wasn't going to beat on the night. Maybe a different time, but not at this performance. Worapon come back from what he had to go through meant that he wasn't going to lose this fight. So I thought Worapon put on a great performance. Banulok Itoma Kuroda, Atomic Kickboxing. Well done to Banulok. He was basically, if he had not won this fight, he would not have a gym to go back to. Probably would have been homeless. But his coach was talking about it before the fight, and he just fought a good fight. He was sharper than Kuroda. Kuroda's a big guy. He's taller than him in this division. He's a tall atomweight guy, but Banulok was just too good. Banulok's left kicks was fantastic. The way he used it, the variations of it, Kuroda, I always said this. I watched these 2 fights before this fight in one championship. He doesn't pull the trigger enough. It's a bit too slow. Not necessarily in terms of his speed, but the rhythm. It's like a slow rhythm, and it's like it's not enough activity. And a fighter like a Banulok will exploit that. Someone that moves a lot like Banulok has a higher volume. They're gonna exploit that. And Banulok was sharper than him in every exchange. And by utilizing that left kick, inside low kick, left outside low kick, and left body shot, left high kick, left straight, then follow up with the left high kick. Beautiful combinations Banulok was throwing. And he was using it at the rhythm where it disrupted Kuroda the whole time. Kuroda couldn't come in and then get his rhythm. Banulok was just too good at it, just too smart to disrupt it. And over 3 rounds, I thought he won every round. I thought the fight was a bit easy for him, if I'm being honest. Not because maybe there was some scandal, but it was easy because Kuroda just didn't know how to deal with the rhythm of Banulok. And also Banulok's powerful. He had like quite a bit of power. And there were moments, but not long moments. They were just like brief moments because Kuroda had good boxing combinations, but never backed up Banulok with it, never hurt him with it, never caused Banulok to actually switch or rethink a new strategy. Banulok just kept doing what he was doing, and that was counter lifts, attacking the outside leg kick. Because remember, it's top of a southpaw, so the front leg is always going to be there. And Banulok was exploiting that front leg by kicking it the whole time. So yeah, Banulok, big win, deserved it. I'm very happy for him. But I did feel like it was an easy win for him though. I still think Banulok should leave kickboxing. Like Muay Thai is where he's at. He's best at Muay Thai. Now that he got this win, let's leave the scandal, Banulok. Just go back to the 4-ounce Muay Thai gloves. I think that's where you're actually best at it. Because you're still a top figure in the atomweight division when it comes to Muay Thai. You know what I mean? I still put him in the top 10 easy. Maybe even top 7. So, and that division is stacked, bro. So I would say go there. Excuse me. Earlier I was talking about Naraka Yoshinari. He's not the strawweight champion. He's the atomweight champion. Strawweight champion is Prajan Chai. So that division is still pretty stacked. Atomweight division, I think in Muay Thai, I think Banulok should stick to Muay Thai because that's where he's just super deadly at that. I feel like he's got a run in him. He's still young and ranked in that division. Bruh, fight there, please. That's where you at. Leave this kickboxing shit. You don't need it. Let's keep it moving. Singdam, staying in kickboxing, took on Ryuki Matsuda. And this should have been Ryuki Matsuda's, again, wheelhouse. But again, we all felt that Singdam was going to win this fight. I thought Singdam was going to be able to use the left kick, fight the way that he fights, again, like Super One, timing with the knees, the left high kicks, the boxing. He was just sharper than Ryuki. He actually made Ryuki fight slower. Singdam fought such a very good fight with the back foot that it made Ryuki fight stagger. Like he was staggering his shots. He wasn't doing the usual elusive, high-paced stuff and all this Japanese techniques, the air cushion techniques. He didn't use any of that. He couldn't. Singdam didn't allow him to. Singdam was very active on defense. He was backwards, but he was throwing that high kick like there was no tomorrow. The push kick to the body, the knee to the body, the left straight, the right liver shot, left straight count. Dude, Singdam was attacking Matsuda literally, whether he was going backwards or whether he was going forward. Singdam was attacking. And that's what I mean by active defense. It means if you're going back-footed, if you're going to choose to be on the back foot, you have to be an active fighter. You can't go on the back foot and not throw anything and try to just wait. Because what that means is you're giving your opponent the opportunities to control you in there, to dictate the pace of the fight. And Singdam never allowed it. Singdam was, because he's on the back foot, because he's striking first every single time, it meant that Ryuki he was the one that was on the defense, even though he's going forward. It meant that he had to react. And it's forcing him to react. It's forcing him to, he's not attacking back in such a way where now I'm in control and I'm forcing you to react to me. No. Even though I'm pressuring you, you're still hitting me first before I'm hitting you. That means the guy with the pressure is actually losing. So Singdam fought by utilizing that game plan was beautiful and deserved the win for me. And he was one who actually got our parlay boosting. Let's go Singdam. Jason Sedo lost the cookie. Adachi did what he had to do. I don't know why it's a split decision because I thought every single round he won. He took Jason down round 1, round 2, round 3, kept him there, ground and pound, smashed him. That's what he did. I don't know where the split comes from. I can't find a round that Jason won. Jason should leave MMA in my opinion because he doesn't have the grappling. He just doesn't have the grappling. He's a former Muay Thai guy. Go back to Muay Thai, bro. You're a very good striker. You're sharp. You're lanky. you intense, you got speed, you got elusiveness. You know what I mean? You fight like MVP, you got Pampara Kuyate in there. Go take up a Muay Thai again. You know what I mean? You're in one. They've got Muay Thai. Go take it up. Because in MMA, you're always going to get taken down. No matter how good you are in striking, someone is always going to take you down. Unless you're fighting against another striker. At which point they won't shoot. But the rest of the game plan is simple. We just saw Charles do it to Max Holloway. Right? We all knew. And that's why I didn't make a pick for that UFC, for that fight. Because I was like, I'm too invested in Max Holloway as a fan. Like I don't want to see him lose, so I'm not gonna bet on him ever. Right? And as much as I'm a big fan of him, which means I watch a lot of his fights, I just knew in that fight against Charles, I was like, Charles doesn't have to fight him with boxing. It's a simple calculus. Right? I don't have to. I'm not fighting for the fans. I'm fighting for me and my livelihood, my health. If I'm gonna go into that fight and fight striker, and I'm a good striker, but my best is actually grappling and jiu-jitsu. Right? Why don't I use that? I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna smash you there. If I'm gonna fight you in striking, like I may get a big shot on you, but the chances of you beating me is higher than me beating you there. So who am I doing that for? You know what I mean? I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna beat you. That's what Adachi did in this fight. He knew I can't strike with Jason. Take you down and smash him. So for Jason, you either need to put in immense amount of hours into your grappling, or just leave it and go to Muay Thai where you don't have to worry about no one taking you down and you can do what you do best. It's not a coward thing to do that. You're just prioritizing yourself. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he didn't do that. But anyway, chat. I digress because I'm gonna talk more about it in the next fight. Give me your thoughts about this fight card. What do you guys make of it? I thought it was a banger card, even though there weren't that many finishes, but they were entertaining fights from top to bottom. I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed the fights in this fight card. Give me your thoughts. What do you guys have about it? I'm gonna give the rating for that fight card probably like an 8, maybe a 7.5. I thought it was really good. But for now, we are gonna switch gears to the UFC. Let's go, boys. Let's bring it up on screen. Here we go. Get some of my water. Talking a lot here. Okay, so UFC 2326 took place on Sunday. Coming out of T-Mobile Arena, Holloway versus Oliveira 2. Now they're 1-1. They potentially will run it back. We'll have to see how it goes, how the chips fall. But Charles winning that fight does make the lightweight division a lot more sticky in terms of the progression now. You know what I mean? So I'll just pick up on where I was talking about before this. Charles fought the perfect fight. Did I enjoy watching it? No. But, dude, perfect fight. He knew, firstly, Max don't check leg kicks. Catch him with 2-3 hard low kicks in the first round. Get Max to think about it, defend. And I said all week last week, Max may be the better striker, but Charles's best attributes for me is not his jiu-jitsu. It's his pressure. He puts fighters on the back foot almost immediately in all fights. When the referee rang the bell, fight, it's on, let's go. Charles literally walked Max down. Boom. You immediately on the back foot. You got small spots. You got small distance between your back and the cage. That's what Charles does the best for me in this division. He walks you down and puts you on the defense, on the instant. Now you must chase me. You know what I mean? You have to think about what I'm going to do to you now. And he did that really well. And that was what I was worried about Max. It was like, Max is a harder guy to take down, but guys don't pressure him the way Charles pressures fighters in the featherweight division. That's a big thing. And Charles put him on the back foot instantly. And also with Max, when you look at the past, when people shoot on Max, they chase his legs. They go for singles, they go for ankles, they go for double legs. And Max gets out of that very quickly. Charles didn't go for singles or doubles. Charles went straight for body locks. Basically bear hugged him and then lock up the double underhook, bear hug. And Charles is the best at that. Bear hugged him and took him down as if it was nothing. It looked like Charles versus Tony Ferguson. And that's not throwing shades on Max and Tony. That was a very crappy version of Tony Ferguson. And Charles took him down like there was a whole different weight discrepancy. Same thing in this fight. Charles looked like he was at least a welterweight, and Max looked like he was a proper 155er. And Charles just took him down like it was absolutely cheese. Light work. Now, Max did a very good job at defending all the submissions. Protected his neck really well. Didn't really allow Charles to get any of that. But outside of defending that, the submissions, couldn't break the body lock, the body triangle, which means you could never get up from the bottom. And also, you can't really scramble against Charles if you want to, because that's when he catches you with a big submission, right? He's the best at it. You can ask Arman Tsarukyan. You can ask anyone except for Ilia Topuria. Even Islam Makhachev, even though it's a bit of a weird fight, but anyone that's dealt with Charles is grappling, you can't just scramble. You can't. You scramble, he's got a limb on you. He'll take your arm, he'll take your shoulder, he'll take your neck, he'll take your fucking fingers, your ankles, he'll take anything if you scramble, and he'll lock you up with it. Right? The only time you can scramble on Charles is in round 5, because that's when he's tired. You can scramble on him then. But early in the fight, it's not a possible thing. And Max couldn't get away from it. So you don't really get points for defending the sub. Right? So yeah, it was a bit of a stalemate fight. People saying it's boring. But dude, what else must Charles do? What else must Charles do? Let's be realistic. What else must he do? You know what I mean? At least he was trying to finish the fight. And that comes at Chimaev, it was holding Drikkers down and hugging him and saying, listen, I'll take you up for a drink later. Charles was trying to finish Max. He elbowed him in the fucking back of the shoulder, into the neck, attacking him with big shots. You know, hitting him and trying to actually fucking finish him. And Max did a good job at defending, but it meant for a stalemate. 5 rounds. It meant that it was a stalemate. Charles could have boxed with him, but why must he? For what? To entertain the fans. So what was I doing? I must risk my chin and my brain getting knocked the fuck out so that you guys can go, and then I lose. I get a bad purse. I get a knockout. It loses. It's a lot at risk for Charles to go out there and box with Max. You know what I'm saying? I see fans crying about it on Twitter and saying that BMF should only be a striking match. Then do a BMF in Zuffa boxing. Then how about this? Then get rid of the BMF belt, and that's what you guys want to see, because that's not how the fight game works, especially in MMA. It just doesn't work like that. If the UFC wants to keep the BMF belt in the UFC and have it for the fans, then how about this? Let the fans choose the fights, and let the fights not be let the fights not have an impact on the rankings of the divisions. So for example, if there needs to be a set of rules that the fans chooses. So you can only choose strikers. You can't choose any grapplers. The fighters can't be in the top 5, in my opinion, because it's going to disrupt the random movement of the divisions. That should be BMF fights there. The way it was when Nate Diaz and fucking Masvidal, they were fighting, because they were never going to fight for titles. They were never going to fight for titles, those guys. But they were going to put on fan favorite fights because they're strikers, and they're going to put on explosive fights. But they're never going to go for a title run. Or never going to disrupt the rankings of the divisions. You can go fight for BMF titles then, if that's going to be the rhetoric. That's what the fans want to see. But that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, well done to Charles. It pains me to say it, but it's an MMA fight. It's not a boxing fight. It's not kickboxing. It's not Muay Thai. It's not Taekwondo. It's not Aikido. It's an MMA fight. And Charles did what MMA fight is supposed to do in a fight like that. It's a perfect game plan. It's a very simple game plan, by the way. It doesn't require a lot of rocket science. Very simple game plan. Max likes to strike. I don't want to strike with Max. He doesn't really have really good jiu-jitsu. He doesn't really have a very good wrestling game. Just take him down. Beat him. That's what Charles did. I'm saying well done to Charles. Now, what's next for the guys? It's an interesting thing for the lightweight division, really. So we know we got Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria coming up later in the year. I think that I don't really want to see a run back between Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan unless one of them are the champion. So I'm saying Arman Tsarukyan gets the winner between Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria. I think Charles Oliveira gets the loser of that fight between Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria. Even though he beat Gaethje already, I think that fight could be fun to watch Gaethje and Charles again. Or even Charles and Ilia again. I think it would be a very good fight to watch again. But I think Arman deserves the title shot next. Max Holloway in number 4. He either gets Paddy the Baddy or he gets Benoit Santini next. That has to be Max's next fight in the lightweight division. So give me your thoughts. It's quite self-explanatory, but I think Ilia, Justin, Arman, Charles, Holloway, Benoit Santini, and Paddy the Baddy are going to be the next couple of guys. You know who else can enter that pocket there? Is Mauricio Rufy. I think he can make a very strong shout for entering that top 5 if he continues to go on the win streak that he is. The other guys in the division, like your Faziev, Dariush, Moicano, they climbing down the mountain. I think Manuel Torres continues on the win streak. He climbs the ranks a little bit better for me. Dan Hooker. So we might even get Hooker versus Dan Hooker, Mateusz Gamrot, Paddy the Baddy, or Beno Santini. One of those 4 guys gets Max next. I think it's probably going to be BSD. Or we probably get BSD and Charles. Considering like what the timing and movement of the fighters. But Arman should fight absolutely nobody else but the champion next, right? And then BSD and Paddy could potentially fight against either Max or Charles, or the loser of Gaethje and Ilya. But I'm looking forward to the lightweight division moving forward. That's my thoughts on the picks there. Don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about that one. But what an absolute domination by Dubronko. Just a domination from Charlie Olives. Well done to you guys. Caio Baralho beating Rainier or Renier de Ridder. Good fight. I think RDR. Like I called it. I said Caio Baralho is going to beat him. Reason being, I felt that RDR wasn't going to be able to take him down. That's just what I thought. When I looked at the fight, I was like, the way Caio Baralho fights is that he fights at a distance where you can't really shoot on him. Right? He's calf kicking you, he's jabbing you, he's doing 1-2s, he's doing 2-3s, he's going to the body, he's doing moves like that, or he will wait for you and he will throw a nice right to counter on the back foot. And that's how he was catching RDR. He was catching him with big shots. Now RDR also caught him with some big shots. Caio Baralho has very much scar tissues very easily, so he'll bleed very quickly. But it doesn't mean he's taking a lot of shots. It just means it's easy to beat, easy to bleed, or to get bruised up. Because RDR cracked him, but not a lot of the times. Not a lot. And very unsuccessful with his takedowns. And I felt that that's why he was going to lose this fight, because of the unsuccessful takedowns. Even though he threw higher volume, I think there was 2 takedowns, if I'm not mistaken. But it was like this. It was like, take it down and back up. You know? Caio Baralho gets back up to his feet very quickly and starts beating him up again. And yeah, I thought throughout the 3 rounds, it was a nice back and forth. But I think Caio Baralho came out best when it came to those exchanges. Again, cleaner shots, better counters, control the volume, control the range. The calf kicks was beautiful. RDR, whenever he did try and go forward with clinching, Caio Baralho cracked him with the right hand and got out of the clinch position. He fought a good fight. The fact that he was able to land cleaner shots, heavier shots, and defend the wrestling meant that he's winning the fight. Whereas RDR just came up short, in my opinion. And again, guys, I don't think Renier de Ridder is a shitty fighter. I just think that I watched a lot of his fights in one, and I saw the patterns. I was like, if he can clinch with you, he's gonna fuck you up. If he can take you down, he's gonna beat you. If you can survive 2 rounds with him, you can get him in the 3rd round. But you're probably gonna lose the fight because you lost 2 rounds. If it's a 5-round fight, you survive the first 2 rounds, chances of beating him in round 3, 4, and 5 are very high, because he kind of gives up after the first 2 rounds. And not because he wants to give up, but because his style doesn't allow him to continue. He's so a high octane guy in the first 2 rounds that he doesn't have it for the later rounds. I just wish to be a little bit more patient with his style, but he just doesn't have that patience. I think that's what always catches him out. Whereas Baralho is a 5-round guy. Baralho is a 5-round fighter, not a 3-round guy. He wants to go 5 rounds all the way. In this fight, I was impressed with his 3 rounds fight. I was like, okay, let's go Baralho. Now, he called out Dricus du Plessis afterwards. I don't know if he gets TDP. I think Brendan Allen gets TDP. Probably going to be June or July, if I'm being honest. Baralho is number 7. Brendan Allen is number 4. I think we're probably going to get Brendan Allen versus Dricus. And they will have... I don't like Imavov not wanting to fight against Khamzat Chimaev. I feel like that's a pussy move. Excuse me, I don't ever use that term. And I don't ever use that term in my vocabulary, because I find it very rude to say that about somebody. But you're in the fight game. And they're not even friends. They don't even have the same gyms. But because you guys are the same faith-based, you don't want to fight each other. What utter bullshit. I'm Dana White. I tell Khamzat, if you don't fight this, brad, now I'm taking the title away from you, my brother. I'm removing your title from you. Because Nasruddin Imavov went through murderer's road to get where he is. Right? Fight him. That thing of Merab Dvalishvili and Aljamain Sterling, I don't buy that bullshit. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like it. If I've got an older brother, you guys know him as Jedi on our channel, right? Myself and Jedi like this, right? We're inseparable. You can't take us apart. We are this close, right? If myself and Jed must be in the same division as professional fighters, and we end up being number 2 and one of us is the champion, I'm telling him, bro, let's throw down. I'm taking your hand. I'm saying that the best man win, but we have to fight each other. We have to. We have to. We're in the same division. You're the champion. I'm number one contender. I'm not gonna wait for you to lose to somebody else for me to fight for it. I'm here now. If you win against me, our gym wins. We both get paid. If I beat you, we both get paid. You know what I'm saying? The people that win at the end of the day is our team. We are the top two. You know what I mean? It's up to the other guys in the divisions to take us out. You get what I'm saying? But the two of them not fighting each other makes for shit promotion. It makes for shitty movement in the division. I don't like it. I don't buy it. That doesn't help. And it's gonna make it difficult for guys to progress, because what's gonna happen is we're gonna get rematches that fans don't want to see. I'm not against rematches if it makes sense. But Imavov should be fighting against Chimaev, because why else did Imavov go through all that fights? What was the point of going through all the other fights to get to number one, and now you don't even get to fight for the title because your friend got the title? Don't be like that. Don't be weak like that, guys. Don't be weak like that. So I think Imavov should be fighting against Khamzat Chimaev. DDP, Brennan Allen, right? Kyle Baralho up against Sean Strickland. And then we got Izzy versus Joe Pfeiffer. And that's the movement. That's the movement of that division. The rest of the guys can be the rest of the guys. Maybe we can go Fluffy and Ellis versus Whittaker could be the next fight for the rest of that division. But for these two guys on screen, Baralho, I'm not so sure. Because Imavov beat him, right? So I know Allen and Baralho wants DDP, but I think Allen's going to get DDP first. Baralho probably either go against Sean Strickland or he goes against Fluffy. And then we have Nasruddin and Chimaev. And then Strickland and, Adesanya versus Pfeiffer. So yeah, Baralho, I think the best fight for you, if you're not going to get DDP, it's Strickland, bro. That's the guy for you. And Strickland won't say no to a fight like that. I tell you now, he won't. Because he might even get the title shot, considering that Imavov is not going to want him to fight Chimaev. But again, Dana White don't like stuff like that. So they're going to have to do something about that ASAP. Rob Font, he lost to Raul Rosas Jr. Not a very uneventful fight. Not a lot had happened. Just like the main event, Raul Rosas Jr. did what he had to do best. He knew that he can't strike with Rob Font. They took him down every round, kept him there. 16 of 18 takedowns. Look at that. That just tells you the story of the fight. He took him down and kept him there, and that's what they did. He didn't do anything else. They didn't even throw any strikes from bottom. I don't know where that 47 strikes came from, because he didn't throw anything. He was just controlling Rob Font. Rob Font tried to get off his back, but just couldn't do it. Fundamentally, wasn't doing the right things to defend and get back up with him in the reverse. He was just closing his guard all the time, which did not allow him to escape from the grappling, which meant they were just going to stay on the ground. And that's how Raul Rosas Jr. won the fight. Got nothing else to say about it, really. That's all what happened. That's all he did. Drew Dober beat Michael Johnson. I think it was round 2. Yeah, round 2. The first round was a little back and forth. The guys are measuring distance a lot of the time. A bit of a calculating kind of round in the first round. Managing their distances, seeing where they can throw things. Second round started, as you can see on screen there, it says 1 minute 53 seconds, which means the round wasn't even that long in the second round. And Drew Dober, beautiful, stepped in. Roddy was talking about this earlier on in one of our episodes, one of our lives, about another Koshinari from the southpaw stance. Those are 1-2 on the inside, right? So he doesn't step, the outside foot doesn't step on the outside, and throws a 1-2, right? He steps on the inside of his opponent. Dober did that over here. He threw a right straight, boom. When he threw a right straight, he stepped into Michael Johnson's stance. He stepped on the inside of the stance, then threw a left down the pipe, boom. Guys, go watch it back. Watch it back live. I'm telling you, the sound, the impact of that left straight. Oh my soul! No wonder Johnson went down like that. I mean, boy, he was stiff, knocked out. Beautiful KO from Drew Dober. Legendary fight between the two guys. Deserves the performance bonus of the night. I thought it was a fantastic bonus to him, and also helped us get our parlay hit. Kyle Baralho winning his fight. Drew Dober. I picked Drew Dober and Michael Johnson not to go the distance. This fight ended into a KO. And then the other fight was RoboCop beating Bruno Ferreira. I picked this fight not to go the distance as well. Rodriguez knocked him out in the first round with a beautiful overhand right. Bang! Slipped him. Again, nothing else happened in the fight. There was measuring distance. Pereira was being aggressive by going forward, and twitching. And Rodriguez just what he did was just fainted, back down. Pereira's guard came down, clocked him with the overhand right, gets the finish, gets the bonus as well, and makes us get our parlay. Let's go. So that's my take on the UFC. I think Cody Garbrandt's fight was a bit strange. I think if he did not get those cup shots, if Xiao Long did not get the double points that had been taken away, he would have won the fight. Cody Garbrandt just doesn't have the stuff for me anymore. It's just not there anymore. I'm not fully invested in him anymore like I was. I never was really, but yeah, not entertaining. Deontay Johnson beat Cody Brandage. That was a bit of a snooze fest, if I'm being honest. Nicky Tertius gets tapped out by Alberto Montes. That was the fight I actually watched. The other fights I didn't watch because I was still sleeping by the time, but I was managed to get those kind of fights. Let me know your thoughts about what you guys think of the fight card overall. What do you guys think about the matchups? What do you guys think about who should be fighting next? Let the banter grow. The comment section is there. It's live. Give me your thoughts about these guys. But that is my time. Thank you for tuning in. What do you guys can expect for the remainder of the week? On Tuesday, we have our preview for the next UFC fight card. I think it's a fight night event. Josh Emmett taking on Vallejos. That's going to be our next one. And on Wednesday, we have our preview for one fight night 41. That will be Wednesday's preview. We potentially will be doing it with ESR. Potentially, we'll see how it goes. Thursday, you know the spot already. We will do a preview for One Friday Fights 146. Then we also will be going live that same Thursday evening for our If I Was a Betting Man segment. Keep a look after we release all our picks for the weekend. We have 3 fight cards this weekend, so we're going to have some good times, make money. And then on Saturday morning at 3 a.m. South African time, we're going to be live for One Fight Night 41. Friday, we're going to be live for One Friday Fights 146. And then Sunday, I don't think we're going to be going live for this UFC fight card. It's just not... the timing, I think, is going to be 11 p.m. for us with the prelim start. But the fight card doesn't look that entertaining, so we're kind of going to give it a pass. So keep a lookout for that, guys, for the remainder of the week. On that note, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We love every little bit of support where you guys coming from. Have a good day. Have a very, very good week. I'm wishing you guys all the best for this new week. We will catch you on the next one. Cheers, everybody. Let's go.